Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. Help with moving on? I, 26F, dated someone, 28M, 4 years ago, and I feel like they have ruined my view of romantic love. This person love bombed me, manipulated me, gaslit me, cheated on me, and scrutinized me. I am so beyond confused because when I met him I thought he was lame. One of the main themes of the relationship was his sexual repression. He confessed to me that he slept with a guy in his hometown, out of the country, in his first real sexual experience, and that he felt as though he needed to make up for that by sleeping with lots of women. So instead of just doing it, he led me on and would say how he only wants me forever, and then he would 2 weeks later compare me to other women and tell me how much he wants to sleep with them. He also compared me to his exes and insulted my appearance and how I was in bed. He would say things like I have a loose PY, or even if you lose weight your body will still look weird, like a guy. He would then retract these things later, but I realize that they still affect me now that we are done forever. He did not like that I was not a virgin. I had a very small sexual past before him, and when I met him I was still so innocent and naive, and he told me that I was damaged and that he did not love me because of the fact. The same guy who slept with a guy as his first, judged me. The past 2 years I have contacted him to try and get some form of closure. It just really hurt me how much he enjoyed hurting me. Whenever I would talk to him, he would just brag about some beautiful girl who fell for him or how he could have anyone. It is annoying. It makes me feel like I was the one that should have been thankful he even saw me. It makes me feel weird, because when I met him I thought he was strange looking and a bit off. The only thing that got me hooked was his overt confidence. He is the most confident person I have ever met. I feel like he got inside my head. I really have been thinking that I will never find someone who loves me in this lifetime, and it hurts. I hate that I met this guy. I find him idiotic and his double standards are disgusting. I wake up with panic attacks every day. Frown. Does anyone have a success story of moving on from a narc? I don't love him, but I cannot move on from him and it is suffocating me. I am in multiple therapies. I just started a month ago, but I wanted to ask on here to see if there is anyone who could recommend anything or any support group that could help me. I just want to move on so I can find someone to love. TLD are trying to move on from narc X and seeking advice from people in similar situations. Here are some of the best comments from our community. Your story is definitely something. Wow. What a fucking guy. Sucks that people like him exist. Even after all this time he has that negative effect on you. This might be controversial, but I see 2 solutions here. First, you forgive him in your heart. You genuinely will have to forgive him. The time with him is traumatic, I know, and there are so many questions that you might want to ask him. And that brings me to the second solution, that you talk to him and get closure. Ask him why? The second option is something I wouldn't recommend, cause given his history, he could manipulate words and before you know it get into your mind again. He played you, and he played you so bad. But I believe it that genuinely if you think you love truly whenever you do, I think somewhere you'd end up finding someone that reciprocates it with equal or more intensity. It's hard to move on from a traumatic past. You're seeking help already and that's the first step. But coming back to my first point, I honestly believe that forgiving him is part of the solution, and I understand it won't be easy, but it certainly will help you with your peace. In the end I'd say that you obviously know your situation best. I'm sorry if my answer may look like I don't understand your situation well enough. Sincere apologies if that's the case, but I really hope that my answer helps you in your healing process. Good luck. First, know that your feelings aren't crazy. They're quite common. You know what you know, and it's easy to assume the future will be exactly the same. I'm here to tell you that it's not, or at least it doesn't have to be. People are different. To put things into perspective, if all guys were the same as your ex, you'd be believing that all of the millions of relationships that exist around you are with a manipulative, lying, and controlling piece of shit. Do you realistically believe that to be true? Of course not. Are those people out there and in those relationships? Of course they are. You experienced it. But to think it's the same with everyone is just illogical. As for closure, you need to realize that closure comes from within. You know what your relationship failed. You laid it out. In summary, he was an absolute piece of shit. I imagine you're looking for why? It's a lost cause. He's just simply a piece of shit. That's all the closure you need. A bad relationship ended because at least one party was an abhorrent person. The end. Stop reaching out. Now that I've said all that, everything else I talk about is going to relate to how you should proceed going forward. Off the bat, therapy is a good start and where you need to be. It'll help with being able to talk things through and help you understand that you're not the problem. Either way, what you need to do is learn from this experience. The first thing you said was love bombing. Every subsequent trait and action has been by the book behavior I'd expect from someone who love bombs. You didn't know any better. Now you do, and that's the point. In saying that, you need to now use dating for what it is, the process of getting to know someone to see if you're a fit and you're compatible. You're meeting a stranger. Off the bat, you have no idea if they're an amazing person, a shitty person, or somewhere in the middle. No clue. So you go out and you get to know them. During this, you learn about them. You learn if you click. You learn if you're compatible. If there are incompatibilities, red flags, or issues off the bat, or at any future point, you walk away. You've learned you're not right for each other. This is generally the source of where unhealthy relationships begin. Rose-colored glasses or not, we know there's questions. We choose to brush them off. They don't get addressed and we proceed. We get into relationships. Then the same issues we objectively knew existed continue to exist, and we act surprised. As an example, it's like someone saying my now ex-boyfriend of 10 years talked inappropriately to other women and I finally left. Awesome. Thank goodness. I then ask, was he doing this when you first started dating? What about early into your official relationship? Yes, he was. Inappropriate behavior from a partner will never be your fault. They're garbage people. But the point I'm making here is that you identified the behavior 10 years ago. You still stayed for another 10 years almost surprised to learn who he is as a person. So that's the advice. Get yourself first and foremost into a good headspace. If you go into things assuming the worst, you'll project those feelings onto the people you date and push them away. When you're able to go into dating with a blank slate, treat it exactly how I mentioned, you're getting to know them. They're strangers. You're not planning your wedding. Decide what you want, and then as you date, if what you want isn't met, you walk away. If as you go things seem okay, keep going and getting to know them. If things come out later on that don't agree with what you want, walk away. If you continue to date and all seems legitimately good, at some point, you simply need to trust that. People generally show you who they are up front. Believe them. Good luck. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.